Stop number 5, winding engine. If you look up the slope at the grassy bank, you will see some of the mine's railway wagons. These would carry coal out onto the main East Coast line. Different types of wagon were used to take coal down to the harbour, where they would be sight-cowped or tipped on their side onto the hold of the collier boats. Next to these is the silent presence of a large steel drum on a brick foundation. This is the remains of a steam winding machine typically used at East Lothian collieries. The drum carried a cable that passed over a headgear and into the shaft. Its cables continually lowered and raised cages of men and lifted coal from the blackest depths of the earth. A little way further down the hill from here, at the other side of the car park, you can see a headgear still stands. In front of the winding engine is the ghostly presence of the miner's cage, standing amid the foundations of the shaft house. It sits directly above the shaft. Notice its 2 tiers. Holding up to 20 miners, it was a kind of double-decker bus. Although this one is modern, for 90 years open cages like this ran from the surface to the pit bottom, 800 feet below. Around the beginning of the 20th century, industrial activity at Preston Grange reached its peak. Much of this centred on the colliery, from which up to 700 tons of coal, dross or clay a day could be produced. Here at the pit head, you can almost hear the rhythmic hiss and tap-tap of the great beam engine, of ponies' hooves on cobbles, bells and shrieking pit sirens calling the time. The footsteps of generations of men, women and children, tired before their time, shuffling through the grey-black dust and grime and clanking of endless trucks on rails, and all of this smothered by a fog of grey steam. This was when the mine was at its most productive. However, tremendous profits did not reach the workers, and resentment against the mine owners led to many years of industrial conflict. During the latter half of the 19th century, miners suffered harsh treatment under the long-standing owners, the Grant Sutty family. This added to the ill feeling towards many mine operators, since the profits from the mine were not redistributed to the miners. Although the owners took the risks and success or failure of the colliery, the human costs of their ventures were often undervalued. In 1926, the year of the general strike, miners of Preston Grange were reminded of their dangerous profession. On an April morning of that year, 2 miners, Robert Martin and George Archibald, were working in the 3-foot seam. Robert heard a barrow or hutch trundling towards him, followed by a short rumble. He called out, and both men crawled further along the passage. The hutch had halted at a pile of stone debris. From under the debris they saw the dim light of a miner's lamp seeping out. They moved rapidly around another route to come out at the other side of the blocked tunnel. Scrabbling frantically at the heap of dirt and rock, the men uncovered, to their horror, their friend John Reid. He was sat upright, but his head had been forced down to the floor. A rock weighing 400 weight, or 200 kilograms, had collapsed on top of him, and now lay on his neck, together with another large stone. John was dead, his neck broken. In all, 8 or 9 tons had come down from the roof, probably caused by a split in the props. The official inquest into John Reid's death was held 2 months later, while the strikers held talks with the government. The Trade Union Congress gave in soon after, having failed to halt the planned wage cuts and redundancies. The miners, however, felt they had most to lose and maintained their protest well into the winter. You have now reached the end of this track. Please pause your player until you reach your next stop.